Hey there, good afternoon. Welcome back. I'm meteorologist Julia Quady. So still very hot all across the coastal bend. Still seeing our temperatures continue to make it into the lower 90s. Feel like temperatures getting to the lower 100s, but our feel like temperatures, since they're only making it to the low 100s, one of the reasons for that is because that latest plume of Saharan dust pushing its way to the coastal bend. So it's doing two things for us this week in our forecast, keeping our feel like temperatures somewhat at bay, keeping that humidity a little bit low. Of course, it's still humid out there, but of course, Saharan air is dry. So kind of combating with that is making our feel like temperatures somewhat at a minimum, I should say, into the lower 100s. But of course, with that Saharan dust, it does have a negative quality for us in terms of our air quality starting to get a little bit impacted and lower for us for today and for the next few days ahead in our forecast. I'll break all that down in just a few more moments. Right now, though, taking a look at our CCAC Skycam over in Snoopy's Pier, we can see all that sunshine coming on through, a little bit obscure by that haze passing on through into our area. Some partly cloudy skies out there as well, but that heat is still a factor for us all across the coastal bend. All of us breaking at the very least into the upper 80s or into the lower 100s all across the area. Here in Corpus Christi, starting to see a bit of a decrease in our temperatures now, around 89 degrees with our feel like temperature at 104. Over in Ingleside, you guys are sitting at 91 degrees with your feel like temperature at 107. Over in Beeville, you guys are sitting at 89 degrees with your feel like temperature at 99. In Kingsville, you guys are sitting at 93 degrees for your air temperature, but it feels like 112 when you step outside for us this afternoon. So again, while that heat is still there, the humidity is still a factor. Thankfully, that Saharan dust is somewhat helping us out in preventing us from getting close to that threshold where we could see some heat advisories going into effect, but we're nowhere near that range because at the very least we need to see our feel like temperatures at least make it to 110 degrees or more and hang on to that for at least 2 hours or more. We're nowhere near that here in the coastal bend, thankfully. In fact, again, only making it into the lower 100s, and we will start to see a decrease in those feel like temperatures as we go throughout our evening and to the overnight hours. But then looking ahead to tomorrow, we'll be back in the same picture, seeing our feel like temperatures once again getting into the lower 100s by the time we get to the peak heat hours during the afternoon tomorrow on your Wednesday. Another thing that's making its way through the coastal bend along with that Saharan dust is, of course, those winds clocking a little bit more gusty for us this week. We're seeing our winds clock anywhere between 15 up to 20 miles per hour for our sustained winds, still being a bit gusty as we go throughout this afternoon and through parts of this evening. Then starting to see a bit of a decrease in those winds, calming down a bit to the lower teens, close to the 10s as we go to the overnight and early morning hours on your Wednesday. We'll be seeing the back to the same wind gusts and wind speeds that we're seeing this afternoon. Ahead for tomorrow afternoon on your Wednesday, also seeing, of course, those wind gusts, maybe potentially going up to maybe 22 or 25 miles per hour. But as you can see behind me, the Saharan dust is still impacting us here in that coastal bend, still seeing that latest plume push on through our area this afternoon. And of course, it's going to continue to impact us through the next couple days this week. Now, latest plume is going to start to push its way going further up north into northern Texas as we look ahead towards your Thursday night during the late evening hours. But even still, it's going to still affect our air quality, still dropping us down even lower from the range that we're seeing today. Of course, being into that moderate zone, into the unhealthy for some zone, that orange zone, as you look ahead to your Wednesday and your Thursday. So, of course, folks who are particularly sensitive with respiratory issues, allergies, you want to make sure you're keeping this in mind before you make plans to step outdoors or maybe spend too much time outdoors, just to make sure you're keeping yourself safe, because that haze is going to be pretty widespread all across the coastal bend. So you want to make sure you're being careful and wary of that. And take a look at your 7-day forecast. That heat and humidity is still going to be a factor too, with plentiful sunshine in the lower 90s.